What is good, everybody? It's your boy Trill, or TB for short, and I'm back with another video. And in this one, I'm giving you my very early season award predictions. Obviously, it's gonna change by the end of the year. It's gonna change in the middle of the year, so I'm just laying that boundary now. Don't take this as anything that's set in stone, because it's not. Now, I know this video was supposed to come out sooner. I did make a community post regarding the video, and it was supposed to come out, but there was some news regarding the most improved and how Austin Reaves is headlining that award as the betting favorite. And originally I didn't have him in this. I'm gonna explain why when we get to the most improved, but we just had to re-record, had to let you guys know that. But before we get into the video, like, comment, and subscribe if you're new, and if you're not new, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate having you here. Let's hop into the video. Now we're gonna start with the rookie of the year, and I think this is a no-brainer. However, I don't think it's gonna be as easy as a race as a lot of us expect. I think Victor Wembanyama takes this one home, and it's essentially written in the stars for this to be his award to lose. He's gonna have plenty of scoring opportunity with the Spurs this year, but what I think will truly put him over that edge is gonna be his clear presence on the defensive end of the side of the ball for the Spurs. Now, Chet, Holmgren, and Scoot, I think those are going to be the other two players that are in this race. I think Chet will have a reasonable chance, but with all the talent on his team, it's going to be hard for him to put up the kind of numbers that Victor and Scoot might be able to put up, because though they have talent on their teams, they're going to be one of the primary options, whereas Chet, he's at most third option, at least in my opinion. You have SGA, I like J-Dub, and then Chet is there, but you can interchange J-Dub and Chet. But regardless, I think this is going to be a tight race to the end. I think Chet will kind of drop off around the January, February time, and I think Scoot is going to make this a battle. Scoot has already made it a point and told us even before the draft process that he thinks he should have been number one. He genuinely believes he has that talent to be number one over Victor, and honestly with Wemby, that 7'5" frame is kind of hard to go up against when you're 6'4", 6'5". Now Scoot is going to be a generational player, there's no question about that, but with that being said, I think Scoot's going to be one of those guys with a clear chip on his shoulder, because from his perspective, even though he's a number 2 overall pick and he was wanted by many, in his eyes, he's probably better than Victor Wembanyama, and I can see that from a Hooper's perspective. Now, overall, Scoot winning the Rookie of the Year over Victor, it would validate, at least in Scoot's mind, that he should have been picked first. And then for Chet, like I said, I think his supporting cast isn't going to allow him to be able to be Rookie of the Year. But with Wemby, the narrative is set in place, is set in stone. We already know what's going to happen, and I don't think his rookie year is going to be this crazy all-star year that everybody's talking about. He's going to be Rookie of the Year, he's going to be all-rookie, and he might be all-NBA. He might get it, but just expect that for Wemby in his rookie year. We're gonna have more in that in my separate Wemby video, so look out for that one. Now moving on to the most improved award, which I'll add, to me it's become the most ruined award. I said this in the beginning, but it's possibly becoming, relevant again. Now this year it usually is no different, because I like guys like Trey Murphy, Mikal Bridges, Austin Reaves. You can even throw Herb Jones in there for a most improved kind of candidacy. But with this award, it was one of those things where we know that guys that got this award in the last few years or so, they haven't been guys that necessarily deserve the award. Like example, Ja Morant. We knew Ja was going to develop into a star. We already expected his development to rapidly grow the way it did. So when we finally saw it from year 2 to year 3, I don't think the most improved award was deserved, because this was expected. Most improved is the kind of award you give to a player who is maybe a role player, rotation player, and then they ascend to that star level, or they come close to that star level. And the guys I named at the top of this intro to this award, Trey Murphy, Mikal Bridges, Austin Reaves, Herb Jones, those are the kind of guys that you want to win this award. Now originally I thought guys like Cade Cunningham or Jabari Smith Jr. would win it, but I saw a report that said Austin Reaves was the betting favorite, which of course led me to re-record this video, but it let me know that the NBA isn't going to completely kill this award and render it useless. In the past few years, we watched players that were already expected to improve drastically win the award, and it essentially made the award feel insignificant. But with Austin and Trey as front runners for the award appears to be going back to the way it should be, and personally, I have Austin Reaves as my pick for most improved, and he'll be the true number 1 in this offense, but he'll shift between the 2 and the 3. And the reason I like that for Austin is at the 2, when D'Lo is on the court, he can knock down shots, put the ball on the floor, create for himself. But when D'Lo's on the floor and he's at the 1, he's more of a facilitator, and oftentimes the offense for the Lakers looks smoother with Austin running it as opposed to D'Lo. Austin Reeves has polished his game with Team USA this summer, and honestly, I fully expect him to come into this season on fire. Now, moving on to one of the, I guess you would say, trickiest awards for me. Well, I guess it's not so tricky anymore. It was tricky when I first recorded it, but not so much now, because originally I had Austin Reeves and Chris Paul in that 6-man conversation. Now, Austin Reeves, I think he's starting, so we could cross him out of there. Chris Paul is kind of still up in the air, because if you look at Golden State, I don't think you're putting Klay on the bench. You're starting, let's just name their starting 5. That's Steph, Klay, Wiggins, Draymond, and Looney. That's your starting 5 right there. Who are you taking out that lineup to put Chris Paul in that lineup? I don't think you take anyone out. So Chris Paul, he's probably going to be a 6-man. He probably should win 6-man of the year by default. However, I don't want him to win that award, and I don't think he deserves that award strictly because it's not for him. Chris Paul, he's too much, how do I put this? His star level is so high that even though he is a 6-man, it's more so by default because of the team's talent as opposed to him being relegated to that position, because he could be a starter for any NBA team in this league. But the person I think it should go to, and who I think it will go to, which this is a sleeper pick, but it's Bennedict Mathurin. Shout out to you, COTY. But Bennedict Mathurin is going to win the 6-man of the year, and that's strictly because the Pacers are going to get better. He's not going to be starting, of course, because their injuries are, they're healthy right now. But so long as they stay healthy, they're going to be a playoff team. And we already saw what kind of start he had last year when he was starting. Now imagine that against bench players that they don't got that dog in him the way Bennedict Mathurin does. He's winning the 6-man of the year. Like, out of all these awards, besides most improved with Austin Reeves, I think 6-man with Bennedict Mathurin, that might be one that I might tell you go bet on that and you might make your money back. That's one that I'm really sure on. But we're gonna move on, and we're gonna move on to the most important award to some, to many, to all, I think. But it's the MVP. Now, the MVP it's going to be an interesting race to say the least. I just realized I put this in the middle, so y'all kind of have to watch to this point if you want to see the MVP. Don't worry, I'm going to put timestamps, but I don't know. If you made it this far, drop a like. That's all I got to say. But the MVP is probably going to be the toughest award because you have to know what a team will do. A popular pick currently is Luka, and while I like that, I don't think the Mavericks will be good enough for him to be able to win it. I think Joel Embiid will be more of a DPOY candidate this year because with Nick Nurse, he's going to be more focused on the defensive end, I believe, and he won his MVP. I think he's done with that. It's time for new sights. So I don't think he has that on his radar. So to me, that leaves Giannis, Jokic, JT on my list for MVP candidates, and Tatum has the advantage if you believe in voters fatigue. But besides that, each player has their own justification for why they may or may not win MVP this year. Now for me, I got Giannis, and he has the strongest case for this. And I'm gonna put it like this: I don't care about what's happened with Jokic or Embiid. The way the basketball world has been flirting with Joel Embiid and Jokic being the best in the world, and while Giannis is still in that conversation, don't get me wrong, I think this year Giannis is gonna reestablish himself. He's gonna remind y'all who he is. He's the best in the world, and he's gonna show y'all this year by winning his 3rd MVP. That's gonna happen this season. That's another pick that I'm sure about. But we move on to DPOY. Kind of an awkward video to me because I don't really do award predictions per se. But if you appreciate the video thus far, for real, drop a like I said before. But this race, it's also gonna be dope. But that's just to me. I'm a defensive minded kind of guy, so I love watching great defense. I say it on the channel all the time. And even though I feel like a lot of recent DPOYs have been fraudulent, Rudy Gobert, I still think the award is still respectable. And this year, it will be given a bit more respect when Anthony Davis stays healthy and wins it over both Jaren Jackson Jr. and Joel Embiid. Now, I did mention Joel Embiid being in the DPOY race, that last award, but I didn't say he was going to win it. Now, Triple J won it last year, and he's young. He's only getting better, so it's clear why he's the front runner to this point. With Embiid, like I told you guys before, I think he's going to be more focused on the defensive end this year out of necessity for the Sixers, and his elite presence is going to be seen throughout the year. He's a great defender. But with AD, I think he finally is going to fill that first option role that the Lakers have needed for what has been the better half a year and a half or so now, and show what he was really traded for and help the Lakers you know, kind of push into that next era. LeBron's kind of on the back end, the LeBron era in LA. I think that time is on its way up, and it's time for AD to step into that #1 role and this team be fully built around him. Now, last and certainly not least, the Coach of the Year award, which in my opinion is the most underrated award due to the fact that many people don't really care about who a coach is unless it's a bigger name or a bigger team. But for us hoops heads who love strategy, sets out of timeouts, and other nuances to the game, this award is pretty dope. Especially like last year's winner, Mike Brown. He deservingly won it. It was the first unanimous Coach of the Year. From the start of the season, it felt as if he was the Coach of the Year. I still remember that clip where, I don't know if they were in training camp or practice, but that turn the Jets on clip, I know y'all know what I'm talking about. He turned the fucking Jets on.
Hey, fucking stuff, turn the fucking Jets. Turn the fucking Jets on.
That's exactly that's the kind of coach I would want to play for. If you're a hooper out there, I'm sure you want to play for a kind of coach like that. Easygoing, funny kind of coach, easy to talk to. This year, it ain't gonna be him. Coach of the Year normally trades, but a guy that I think will also have that same kind of team success. And I kind of look at these kind of teams for Coach of the Year. I don't really care for Coach of the Year for teams that are the #1 seed, unless you're a team that came from like 5 seed, 6 seed, and came up like Monty Williams and the Suns. But if you're just a team like, let's say, Denver, Mike Malone shouldn't get Coach of the Year for getting a 1 seed back-to-back years. Something like that, I don't go with. So with that being said, my Coach of the Year is Mark Daigneault for the Thunder. The Thunder are led by SGA, but they also have talented rotation around him with Josh Giddey, J-Dub, and Chet Holmgren. Josh and SGA have shown amazing development during this summer's World Cup for their respective countries, Josh with Australia, SGA with Canada. And then with Chet and J-Dub, they showed some of the same amount of development in the Summer League. And the Thunder team, they're a team that teams should be afraid of in the West. I don't think they're gonna be a contender, but they're gonna compete, if that makes sense. They're gonna be a team that if you come up to the arena that night and you're not on that type of timing, they're gonna leave there with a 20-point dub. But that's all I got for you guys in this video. This was my award predictions video. I actually hope you guys enjoyed this one. It went shorter than I thought it was gonna go, but I really liked it. Let me know what you guys think below. Drop your award predictions below. I want to see what y'all have to say. Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, it's your boy TB with the greatest hoop stories in the base on the tube, and I love you guys. I'm out. Peace.